Welcome to the Agent Upgrade Podcast with your hosts Jasmine, Krnjetin, and Alan Corey, where we learn the strategies of top producing real estate agents so you have the tools to upgrade your own real estate career.
Hey, Jasmine, good to see you. You've got a little bit different background. Where are you?
A slightly different time zone as well, I think. It's nighttime over here. We're about 5 hours ahead of you right now. We're in London. We've been spending a little bit of time in Europe, and yeah, it's been fun, kind of working here. And because when you are in Europe, you get the whole morning to yourself, right? Because I'm way ahead of you guys, so
That's what's great is what I've noticed working with you over the years is that we'll occasionally check in and you're like, oh, I'm in Serbia today. I'm in Croatia. I'm in London. And I had no idea, your system, your business, your response time doesn't skip a beat. So kudos to you and your team for not even people noticing. Which I know for real estate agents that sometimes it's the opposite where, they say the best way to generate leads is to go on vacation. And that's when everyone comes out of the woodwork to look at homes.
I know. Yeah, I think that's true. But I think that one of the distinct advantages, I would say, that mortgage people have over realtors, and there are very few of those, but the one that we do have is that, we don't always have to be there to open up the doors, because we can do Zoom calls over video, chat, as long as you've got a good cell phone plan and a good laptop, you can pretty much do what you need to do.
On the real estate agent side, you're right. It's the opening of doors, and hopefully, most agents quickly learn they need to cultivate a friend, or if you're not on a team, it's someone who's like, hey, I got your back when you're out of town, and I'll get your back when you go out of town. But on top of that, a good CRM system or some sort of process to just manage your clients, monitor emails in a different time zone, maybe send out replies that are tracked, whether it's text message or emails. A CRM system is also a realtor's best friend. The first best friend is that other agent that'll open doors for you. Two, it's a good software system. And I think that's going to be a great story that we hear today from Ross Seligman, who is a team leader in Portland, Oregon, but he found that he was having similar problems, and we'll hear his story. And so much so they became entrepreneurial and started up a side business to basically create the system that he was looking for. So I love hearing stories like that. I love it when people have a problem and they build a business around that problem to solve it, rather than just complain about it or sit back and adjust the way that they want to do business. So this is going to be an inspirational story, and possibly a solution that some of our audience needs if they have the similar problems that Ross has.
I love it. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's bring hey, Ross Seligman. Thanks. Welcome to the Agent Upgrade Studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I don't want you to think that I wasn't complaining a lot. I was complaining a lot. So lots of complaining. Okay. Years of complaining.
Good. But you were not being heard, and so you did something about it, right?
Everybody was sick of listening to me. That's what happened.
So what were those pain points that? Well, maybe first. Well, yeah. What were those pain points, and then what did you do about it? Let's hear that.
Well, I feel like we're kind of sold a bill of goods so to speak, in real estate. It's like we get into it so that we can work for ourselves, that we can have control over our time. We can, if you look at HGTV or you look at Instagram of other agents, it's just not real. What happens is you start and you get into it, and then it's like, oh, instead of working 40 hours a week for someone else, I can work all of them, so my feeling now, this is my 17th year in real estate, and I feel like I only really started to get on the road to happiness with real estate 5 years ago. I felt like there was a direct correlation between my bank account balance going up and my quality of life going down. Not always, but if I'm looking at like the macro, And so my feeling now about real estate is that it's kind of like King Kong destroying New York City, and New York City is your life. And you have two choices. You can either just, let it continue, or you can tame the beast and make it work for you. And that is everyone's choice in real estate. And so, so many realtors are just winging it, and their business plan is sell as many houses as you can. And if you are not systemized, you will work all of the hours, all of them. And you will be really stressed out, and you won't have it together, and you'll be doing it until you're 85 years old, And so after about 12 years, I'd been trying everything. I had subscribed to everything that I thought could help me. I was piecing together, automating as much as possible with like 10 different things. I was only using 10% of each one, but I was paying for all of them, all this kind of stuff. The next shiny thing I was all about. I tried everything. I'm an early adopter kind of personality. Mm-hmm. And, what I realized was that when I looked around at my brokerage, I was at Windermere for 10 years. So, like a big agency, there were a lot of agents in my office, really big office. People have been doing it a really long time. And the people who I really admired and who I wanted to be like when I grew up were the people who, there was a couple things. First of all, they had this very rich life outside of real estate. Now, there weren't many of these people, I have to admit. There weren't many. But the ones that I saw, they had this very rich life and huge businesses. And it seemed like their phone would just magically ring with people who wanted to buy or sell. And
the
then,
dream. Yes, the real estate agent dream. Yeah, I can see wanting to emulate those people. Yes.
But that's what I feel like that's what we all think we're signing up for when we get into this business. But of course, if it was that easy, it can't be that easy, right? Or or every single person on earth would be a realtor. Mm-hmm.
So, well, it feels like that way in my neighborhood.
Yes. And in boom times, it starts to become every single person's a realtor. But you wouldn't have such truth in these amazing memes all over the internet, especially from Broke Agent and all that stuff, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
We can all relate to those things because it's like, oh, yeah, and when you get into it, you discover that. So I made a decision 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. I had my first child, my son, who's 6. And when he was born, I felt like this kid is only going to know me with a phone on my head, and I'm never going to be present, and I'm going to miss all of it. And I decided I'm not doing that. So I gave myself two choices. I either figure out how to make this work for me, or I'm quitting. I'm out. I'll find something else to do. I don't care if I make very little money. I don't care. It's your money or your life, right? It's like, I all of a sudden things just really changed for me. And I have figured out how to make it work for me. I am working 40 hours a week now. My business is 500 or 600%. I actually should do the numbers again, 500 or 600% bigger than it was 6 years ago. I say I have to do the numbers again because we were saying 400% 2 years ago, but it's bigger now. So I am constantly learning, constantly getting coached. I really believe in coaches. I've had many coaches. I'm getting coached now. And it's all around for me having time has become more important than money to me now. Money is extremely important. I'm not downplaying the income and the business and all that at all. Mm-hmm. But you can always figure out how to make more of that, even though sometimes it feels like you can't. You can. But time is the irreplaceable resource. So what happened was through two totally unrelated real estate transactions, I met this guy, Hayden Hamilton, who has become a really good friend. And he had a whole development team, and he was, doing all these interesting startups and I realized that everything that I was subscribing to, every CRM, a lot of names that people would totally know who were listening to this, watching this, this podcast, webcast. I don't know. What do you call this? What do we call this right now?
Podcast.
Podcast,
okay.
sure.
Podcast.
Live stream if you're
live stream. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm down with whatever you want to call it. So I realized that all of that stuff, it seemed like, was really created by Silicon Valley to sell us stuff. Like, we are the best target, right? Like, you get your real estate license and your phone blows up with everyone trying to sell you something. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this can't none of this stuff works the way I need it to. It's not how the people that I admire, it's not actually how they do their business. So I went to my friend Hayden and I said, okay, how much would it cost me to, this was total ignorance because this is not how this stuff works. I said, how much would it cost you to build? I know exactly what I need it to be. And my basic idea was kind of like all these things I subscribe to. I want like the 10% of the actual useful parts of them all in one thing for me and my team. The
Software, build the software for me.
Yeah, build a software platform. Like I need to systemize. At the time I had one assistant and I wasn't delegating enough, and it was all this, all this stuff. Lots of I had to see things. My worldview had to change in lots of ways, right? And so we started building it, and then we built this thing, and then people at my brokerage were like, "What is that you're doing on your laptop?" And the next thing I knew, I realized that there was a problem here. The problem was that with software, you don't just build it and you're done. It's endless. I mean, Google changes one little security line of code and the whole thing doesn't work.
Right.
It's absolutely, it's never ending. And I was like, I can't afford to keep doing this. Like, I can't afford to keep doing it. Right. And then other people are asking me about it. So next thing we know, we're like, okay, well, the only way to do this and for me to be able to do this, like, let's start a side business and have, other people can use it. And we have hundreds of people all over the country. We are the weirdest tech company on earth. We don't have investors. We don't make any money because all the money that we do get goes into development. We keep adding all this cool stuff that comes from our users, like I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. We're hoping that if we can get even more users, the next thing we'll do with revenue is have 24-hour support, like chat support. Right now we have support, but a lot of times it's me. So
would you categorize this as a CRM system?
CRM is so boring. Like, agents don't want to talk about CRMs, right? But
we need one, but yes,
we need one. But we absolutely need one. I've been trying to find another name for this thing because it's not just that it's a CRM, and I'm not sure people even agree what CRM stands for. Client relationship manager, customer relation. I don't know. So that's only one part of it. I mean, the other thing is that, as I'm talking about the two values of it, it's called Sphere, by the way, and you can check it out at usesphere.com. But the two values of Sphere are building your business to wherever you personally want it. And it's not about like, make all the money in the whole world. It's maybe you want to, and this will help you do that, but maybe you don't. Maybe you want to make $100,000 a year and you want to do all this other stuff, whatever. It's about designing your life that you want. But the second value is time, and getting time back and being with your family and doing other things, and so the reason why I say it's not just a CRM is because that's the other value. It automates so many other things that have you ever noticed in the real estate business, we have to like triple enter everything with like all this different stuff. So like if Sphere is the center of your if you enter a transaction in Sphere, you like hit a button, it uploads it to SkySlope or paperless pipeline. You hit another button, it opens escrow. You hit another button, and sends it to the lender. You hit another button, you know what I mean? Right. So it just sort of like eliminates all of this redundancy. It sends a whole transaction timeline to your client. It sends it to the other agent, like all this stuff that we spent out. I mean, anywhere, if I can find a new feature that will save 10 minutes of my day, we build it in because it all adds up.
Yeah. So, all that problem that you solved about the triplicate entries and stuff, like there's businesses here in Atlanta, transaction coordinator who will do that, but it's $300 per transaction. But at least it's someone that's I'll pay $300 to get 2 hours of my time back, right? Or whatever, kind of thing. What does it cost for Sphere, to use Sphere?
So it's $50 a month.
Okay.
If you pay for the whole year, there's a discount, so it ends up being more like $40 a month. Now, the thing is, if you're a new agent, if you've been licensed less than 12 months, it's free indefinitely until you close 2 million in volume.
Nice.
If I had this,
you would have
17 years
closed
ago,
2 million so much faster.
I mean, but I also would have been closer to the ideal of like why we got into this business like pretty fast. And I also remember being really fee averse, because you're just getting hammered from every direction. And especially as a new agent, you're like, am I even going to be good at this? So this is the true, what it is I've systemized the way successful referral agents do their business. That's what it is. Okay. And then automates enough of the transaction process in a way that also communicates with the client that they feel like it's you, that you get hours of your life back. You also never wonder what's going on. Now, if you have a team, you can completely control the nuances of how the team operates with it. And that has changed my life, because what happened was when I started this, and it's grown, I mean, it's, from what it was 6 years ago, it's very, very different now. But what happened was at the time, one of the things it does is it takes the prep out of telling me who I need to talk to, right? I mean, Contactually did similar things. This does it in a very different way than Contactually. I mean, if anybody's interested and they want to ask me about it, I'm happy to do like a video demo for people. But it takes the prep out of like everything that is the most meaningful actual lead generation. So I do things like Zillow and all that, okay? But I don't actually let that stuff automatically go into my CRM. I let it fill up in Zillow, because 90% of it's terrible.
Right.
That might be generous, right?
Yeah.
Sphere becomes my sacred temple of real estate. And if I get one good connection from Zillow, I graduate them to Sphere. But 6 years ago, by taking out the prep of who I need to talk to, and with every name that comes up, I vaguely knew who they were, because I don't just let thousands and thousands of people in it. My business launched. I mean, it launched in a way. I mean, because it took me 30 minutes in the morning to do the stuff that actually truly moved the needle that we know we're all supposed to do, but we don't do it. Then I had a ceiling where I was like, okay, my time, because these are my two obsessions, right? So my money started to go like, whoa, but my time started to go like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to make a decision. Do I just sort of like stay where I'm at?
Right.
Or do I add a team member and see how far I can take it? And I added a team member, and my business went higher, and my time was fine. And then it went even higher, business wise. And then my time started going like that. And I'm like, okay, so I'm now there's 6 of us, including me now. And that happened in 6 years. So there's like one person a year I'm taking on, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing it slowly and sustainably, because I refuse to work more than 40 hours a week. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, as I get to the ceiling, I'll add more, and then I'll make a new decision. And I'm not going to do this indefinitely. Like, at a certain point, I'm sure I'll be like, okay, I'm good.
Or I'm only working 30 hours a week, and then I'm only working 20 hours a week, or whatever.
Maybe that. Yeah. I mean, that would be wonderful. So
does Sphere monitor how many hours you're working per week, or is that sort of something you just?
No, but that's a good idea. I like that. It doesn't. Yeah, it should give you like a screen time readout.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It doesn't.
Don't do that. Don't do any more hours.
So outside of Sphere, then how do you regulate that you're working 40 hours a week? Do you just turn your phone off? Do you like how do you manage that?
So the way I manage that is, I have an iPhone, and I also have a Google Voice number. And so, with Google Voice, you can set it so that it doesn't ring after a certain time. And so I've got my, I'll have people on call on my team. This is one of the ways that I manage it. But there's certain things in Sphere that make your sort of, like your clients are calling you, even though you've emailed them exactly what is going to happen and when, the super high anxiety levels with buying or selling real estate. It's like, it's where you're going to live. It's huge amounts of money, like all this kind of stuff. So, they'll call you 7 times asking again, like, whoa, when's the closing date, or when's this? All of Sphere makes all that disappear, because they end up with a portal basically into their own sale timeline and everything. That's sort of in real time on their phones. And so they can, my client, I always say to them, I'm always available. You can always call me. but just touch this and you can see what's going on. And then they never call me. And then I control my time. Whereas meaning that on Mondays, I call everyone to give them an update, but they pretty much already know most of it because they're able to touch that button. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Like that, I had that problem, and what was funny is I didn't think, I should start a business with that problem. It was I need to find a new lender that will do this stuff for me, and then found Jasmine. And
I am not trying to put Jasmine out.
She sends the updates to the clients twice a week, not just me, like all of her clients.
That's awesome.
Like, oh, wow, I'm never switching to another lender again. But that's awesome. But that is a problem. Like that is a time suck because it's
time suck.
It's everyone wants to know what's next. When do I need this by? Where am I on this journey? And it's a constant email or a phone call. But that was a huge time saver for me when I took that off my plate. So like Sphere solving that's huge. Like no other CRM does that. As far as
No, I mean, and it's a labor of love. I mean, I love working on it. I love when people come up with ideas and we're like, oh, can we do that? And of course I don't know software. So I go to my partner, Hayden, I go, can we do this? And his answer is either like, yeah, that's easy, or no, that would take like 10 months and like 45 developers, and I can never tell which one's going to be which. Cause to me, it's all magic,
Yeah. You don't know what's happening in the back end.
I think on my iPhone, I'm like, there's like little, magical elves in it or something. I don't know. So
that's funny. And what I had a similar thing where I partnered with a guy who developed a sign installation app because I was having problems installing a sign and letting clients know when a sign was installed and all this stuff. And he built a little app and he was the programmer, did everything with it. But then I came across that agents are not the most technically savvy people, or they also have the ingrained habits that they don't want to change. Have you run across either one of those sort of problems?
This is one of the reasons I love when those new agents sign up for free.
Yeah.
Because I can give them the habits right away that are going to be like, I mean, absolutely. And Sphere is like anything else. Like there are people using it just for that timeline portal that I talked about, and that's it. There are some people using it just for like, tell me who I need to talk to and what we talked about last time. And that's it. There are people using every single corner of it. So I think there's that, but also, I do webinars every week. They jump on, we have great conversations about it all. We do have support. All of us are chiming in and answering questions. I like to onboard people when they sign up, especially teams, because I really kind of have to configure it. Here's one of the issues too. All of these other systems have like how they deal with teams. Like here's how you deal with teams and sign up your team member. And my feeling is, I don't know that I've seen two teams that operate the same way.
Right.
So Sphere is modular. It's kind of like a social network. It's like everybody has their own account and they send a friend request to each other, and if it gets, and then they accept it and then they're linked. And then you can configure how they're going to interact with each other and what you're going to let the other person see and what you're not going to let them see and what you're going to let them edit and what you're not going to let them edit. And it really, so we've seen this be really successful for solo agents, team, like with a capital T, but then also like, let's say you're a solo agent and like, like you said before, like let's say you have an agent, you're an agent and you're a solo agent and your friend's a solo agent and you want to just cover each other when you guys go on vacation, or maybe you have this arrangement where you're like, well, we're not really a team, but like, every other weekend I'll cover you. Like there's one solution, right? Your spheres can be linked, but you could only make it so that they're seeing your stuff on those weekends you're not working.
Yeah, that's cool.
You could share with them your database on the weekends you're not working. So it's sort of very fluid to how you work, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
that's also, so how much of your time is focused on growing Sphere and how much of your time is managing your team of 6?
Well, let's see. They go hand in hand, because the more we build into Sphere, the less I have to manage my team, because I can just just look at it and see I know what everybody's doing. I mean, on there, I could see if people are making phone calls to their database or not. So, it's a good question. I don't know. I feel like it's 70-30, probably 70 my team, 30.
Are you still showing homes and going on listing appointments? And
I am the lead listing person currently, and I'm trying to figure out a way to not be. That's sort of my next step.
Well, just give listings to me. Yeah, I'm sure every agent says that to you on your team. Yeah.
Well, what I mean is, like, I figured out how to really empower the agents to the client for buyers, where they don't feel like they even need to ask me anymore.
Yeah.
The client. Yeah. Because they, I like to start every relationship with a meeting like this, a video meeting with the client and with the agent that's going to be working with them. And I'm really empowering them as, like, being absolutely amazing at strategy and everything, especially in this market. To, and the thing I feel like, though, is when sellers, it's like a different sort of anxiety with sellers than buyers. So they want me when they call, and I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, there's got to be a way to, not that I don't want to talk to them or anything. Of course I do, but, like, figure out a way to empower the agents in front of them where the client really feels like they don't always have to go to me. They can go to them and feel really secure in the answer.
Yeah. I struggled with that for a long time. And I feel like I've sort of cracked the code. And
tell me.
Well, this was it. It just came down to, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not going to do it anymore. And so when I made that decision, because I could always do it, I could always shuffle my schedule around. I could always make my time available. But if I just made a decision saying, hey, I'm no longer doing this, then what it had would put me in a box where I wasn't just going to ignore an email or a voicemail, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
And so then I just got through that, where I would just, hey, I probably the first few times I did a video call with a member of my team, and it would just be, hey, just want to let you know, I'm focusing on building this, growing the business, and whatever. So-and-so is going to be your listing agent. She's going to be your main point of contact. She's actually better at it than me, because now that's all she's doing. And I'm going to be distracted, and I'm working on other things. I'm growing Sphere, or whatever you could say, something like that. Like, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to be, give my agents the better tools. And so I will always be available, but you'll probably get a faster response through so-and-so. And then, but what I learned is, once I started kind of setting them up, saying, this is a better person, they're better at me, they're going to be quicker to respond, people stopped reaching out to me, kind of thing. And
it's fabulous.
I wouldn't say that's any genius thing, and I'm still learning, but I probably did it for a year longer than I needed to, because I was just like, I have to be there. I have to be. They want to talk to me. They need to talk to me, which, and
that's how I used to feel about buyers. And now I'm like, oh, so what you're talking about, I think we all suffer from this. This is a absolutely primary challenge of mine, is, for some reason, I've made certain decisions. I don't know why I made those decisions, but I made those decisions. And then at some point I go, wait a minute, that's not true. Why did I make that decision? And then I do something differently. And then I'm like, oh God, why didn't I do that a decade ago?
Well, it's the same thing. You made a decision. You're working 40 hours a week. And what happened? Your time went down, and then your money went up. And so sort of the same thing just happened. This is important to me. And if you start prioritizing what's important to you, you get better results than you thought, because then you're focusing on things you're interested in, and maybe things you're better at. And you're also empowering your team. Like now I can send, 7 different agents on a listing appointment at the exact same time, when I would have had to spread that over 2 or 3 days. And they're like, well, it's going to be 3 days, and we're going to go talk to 2 other agents, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it almost comes back in abundance. And sure, maybe some listing appointments, those agents, maybe I'll never know. Like, if I wanted an appointment, what if I would have gotten it? But what happens is, some of those agents went over the person, and then they went over the neighbor, and then they went over, then it's like, wow, They made a connection that I probably couldn't have made. And so, things like that.
I love that. I mean, if I gotten a time machine, went back to the me 10 years ago and told them I wasn't going to be really in production with buyers anymore, I would have said to myself that that's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I'm listening to you, and I would love to hear more about that.
Well, I want to start using. It's funny. I an hour before this call, I just bought Follow Up Boss because I was like, I need a better CRM system. And
I wish we had done this a couple hours ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now I'm going to go cancel it, and I'm like, I need Sphere. I like Ross. I want to help Ross work. So it seems like we've got the same we want to balance our time. We're growing a team. We have same size team. We have same the sky slope stuff is annoying, and I'm like, wow, I think the way you think is probably the way I think, and want to grow a team. So.
Well, the thing is, I have all the non-sexy stuff in Sphere. That's actually the stuff. Like, it'll be the weirdest thing, like something tiny, and an agent will be like, "Oh my god, that's like the most," But if I went to an investor in Silicon Valley and was like, "It does this," they'd be like, "What?"
But right. I think that's key, though. I think it's like you literally, when it comes to the CRM, you have to buy a CRM that's made by somebody in your business, not by somebody for your business, but somebody gotten nailed on the head because they didn't send off that power of attorney 3 days before closing, and then everything got botched up, and like somebody that's felt your pain. And I think that's why it's really important to actually buy a CRM from somebody that is in your shoes.
I agree, and I'm sure someone else has made one. I don't know anyone else who has. I think I know I can think of a couple that were like created by agents, but then got bought up and then just turned into the same thing because we have this huge target on us of, they have money. Let's go get it from them.
I hate that. Yeah.
I hate CRM systems where it's like, oh, this is the way we do it. And it's like, no, I want to do it this way. And it's like, sorry, we made this decision
in the vacuum somewhere in some boardroom, and now you're screwed.
It works for some rich guy in California who we talked to get one input, and now that's the whole system's built this way or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. If ours is a little bit similar. Like some of the philosophy, some of the way it's systemized works really well. You're familiar with the ninja selling? Kendall, all that. Apparently, they've been talking about it on their not Ninja themselves, but people who are really into Ninja and like in these Facebook groups. We've had a ton of signups lately from people saying, "Oh, in this like private Ninja group, they were talking about it because it's very, it sort of fits seamlessly into that." So the way I always talk about it is like, I think the best ROI is obviously referral business, right?
Right.
But I'm also really into buying leads. Like I buy leads. We do really well buying leads, but to me, the ROI on buying leads is turning that into 3 sales,
right?
Not that one transaction. And so, we have a relationship. We get a sale from Zillow, say, or Realtor.com or whatever, put it into, that person makes it into Sphere. And now we're following up and we're inviting them to events. We're doing all this kind of stuff. And then they refer us, that's the ROI on that stuff. It's not that one transaction.
So would you, I've never bought leads, but I always am considering it. Would you mind sharing the numbers of what you spend and sort of what the return on that ROI with and without Sphere as well?
With and without, yeah. So I don't, this might sound huge, but it's not huge compared to what some people spend on Zillow. Yeah. I personally spend $5,000 a month.
Okay. So spending $5,000 a month, and that generates you what?
Yeah. And Jasmine will not like this. My lender partner pays $5,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So it's $10,000 total is what's going to Zillow.
Got it.
Yeah, man, they're making 6 figures, but my lender partner's, splitting that with me.
Right.
And they get all those, obviously they get all those, but I'm also really grateful. So I'm sending them people anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter, but
yeah. So let's talk about those numbers. So what does $10,000 buy you? Is that 100 leads a month that 3 are actually good, or is that 500 leads?
It's actually, every market, they're doing all these different tests with Zillow.
Yeah.
And so different markets are doing different things. Okay. In Portland, they're only doing what do they call it? They call it like market rate or something. And it's a certain number of connections. warm connection. So it used to be like way back in the day, it was really irritating. I signed up for it and I quit Zillow as fast as I could because my phone would blow up all day with horrible leads, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to get 7 a month or something. I don't even remember how much it is now. But it's because all of the 1,000 calls that came in, they took them, not me. Zillow did.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a warm transfer.
Okay.
They're going, hey, if my phone rings, I actually, the number they call with, I saved it on my phone as like $10 signs, so when I call them out with money, I pick it up and, it's like, hey, like this is Zillow and I've got Joe on the line. He wants to talk to you right now. It's like, great, cool. Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the way it works though. I don't actually take those calls. My team does. I have 3 buyer agents. And one of the reasons I signed up for this was because I thought it was great training. Like there's no better training than talking to people who have no idea that when they push the button, they were going to get a realtor on the phone.
Right. Yeah.
So like, you really can't get, I mean, it's a warm lead in the sense that like, they're obviously interested in homes, but it's a cold lead in the fact that they're like, wait, what?
Right. Right.
And
go look at the house now. What I can do that? Or yeah.
Or even like, wait, I didn't realize I was going to talk to a real, like what? Like, why am I talking to a real,
Yeah.
So I like the training for my new agents,
yeah,
to just like, here, get happy. Like I'm going to sit, through me, you're going to get people that are really excited to talk to you. Through this, you're going to be talking, you're going to just get arrows, that you're going to have. And it makes them really good at staying calm and not worrying about rejection as much. And, it's just such good training. And then they also get sales. So, so to me, doing that is a combination of training and actual, like get some deals done,
So, but to make 5,000 for you.
Oh, we have to I have got to 3X or I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I want to make like 300,000 in a year.
From those Zillow leads.
Yeah. 300 or 400,
And that's, I guess how much, because you said like there's a bunch of crap and then the cherished ones make it to your CRM.
So let's say I'm having like 7. Well, here's the other thing too about these. I'll get more than 7 because what happens is when the phone rings.
When you say 7 closed deals or 7?
No. These are 7 warm transfers. People actually wanted to,
in 1 month or?
Yeah, in a month.
Okay.
So that's basically what I'm paying for. And
wow.
If but here's the deal. Let's say you and I are in the same market, and let's say you're in the same zip code as me, and the phone rings for you. And you don't answer it.
It goes to you. Yeah.
It goes to me. So I get a lot of people that don't answer the phone.
Yeah. Right. So, right. Because they want someone to talk to them right now.
No, this is very, Zillow is like, it's very frustrating in a lot of ways. It's very, I think I like to kind of have my face a little bit everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So since the majority of human beings looking for real estate look at Zillow, it's one of the reasons I wanted to be there. Then I like the training aspect. And then there's there are deals where, I do make some money from it. It is the lowest pillar, I guess I would say, of my business though. I mean, I'm like 70%, 80% referral from my database and past clients. And then maybe another 10 or 15% other realtors and partners sending me people. And then, I don't know how much. I didn't just do the math in my head. I think I have 5% left. So that's probably online leads. It's not.
I think to be a successful agent, that's how your breakdown needs to be. Yeah. But just to put a button on this conversation, it costs $10,000 to get 7 warm leads. You're saying you turn those 7 warm leads into $30,000 of commission roughly every month.
That's no. You know what? I wasn't thinking correctly about this because I'm only spending 5,000.
Okay, you're right.
So I'll turn it into like 15,000.
Okay. All right.
So it's not 300,000. It's so right. So it's not huge.
Yeah.
As far as real estate goes, it's not huge. But there are teams who kill it with this stuff and are spending 6 figures a month.
Right. Like it obviously you'll know quickly whether it's worth the ROI. And as we were saying, I recall I did pay for leads. What I did once is I paid for a company. It's one of the big names out there. And they built my website for me and they had an MLS search and you could search homes and it had a built-in CRM and
like a Boomtown kind of thing or like
exactly. Yeah. And what I found was like, man, if you're not aware of Zillow.com, if you're not aware of Realtor.com, and somehow you came to my website to search for like you are not ready to buy a house. Like I had to go to them and I said, please do not even allow them to search for homes on my website like under $50,000. Like this is like, these are sort of the leads that I was getting. And I was like, so ever since then I was like, I don't want to IDX or any sort of thing on my website, because that in some way, like if you're doing that, it's such a better experience to go to Zillow and Realtor. I don't have the resources to build a better website than what you're going to get right there. Right.
Totally. Yeah.
And it comes with an app and all this stuff. So I agree with you. Like being on Zillow or being on Realtor.com, having a presence, paying for ads, just because that's where buyers are going, like it or not. That's where they're going to go to look for houses. And
they are. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I remember years ago we'd all fight Zillow. Don't look at Zillow. It's just like, what a waste of energy. Like, okay, that's where people are going. Right. Zillow is like a verb now. I mean, so
once everyone's MLS agrees not to automatically share their listings to Zillow for, then they're going to stop going there. But
right. But who are they using to buy or sell their house? Us.
Right.
So who cares? Let them. Right. Fine. Right. Go look at Zillow and then send me your Zillow link and then I'll help you buy it.
No, I agree. Yeah. So that's interesting. Well, thanks for sharing those numbers. I've always been curious sort of what people are paying with and what the return was, but I like the training aspect. That makes
I'm sure it's different for it's got to be different for everyone. Yeah. And the other part, when I said that Zillow is doing different things in different markets, there's some markets, not here, where they're doing this like flex thing where you don't pay anything. It's a referral fee.
We had Danny Burgess on the show, who was a flex agent. Yeah. And basically what my understanding of that is, like you're approved premier Zillow referral, like he and his team get like the first call, and he's in a really big market, and he's like, it would be dumb to walk away from this kind of thing. But I don't think it's in my market, or I don't know how they pick who their flex agents are, but what's your understanding? It's like a referral, like you give a kickback to Zillow. I think
it's high. I mean, it's like 35% or something. Yeah, but
like a referral fee. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, if my team would want that and it was available here, it wouldn't cost me anything. Right. So it's like, why not?
Yeah. If it's free and you give a 35% kickback, I think people would do that. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I bet if you do the numbers, I bet Zillow makes even a lot more money from that than paying for the monthly fee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the key to any of the online leads type of things is that you've got to have a really good CRM, because you're likely not going to convert them on the first or the second or the third call. It's going to be like 6 months from now. And if you have a good system in place, if you don't have a good CRM, then you're kind of flushing your money down the toilet, really.
Yeah, I mean, it takes huge amounts of follow up. You're right, and Sphere is not where that's not where I put the Zillow leads. Like unless it's someone I really connected with, I let the CRM, the Zillow one, just fill up with all the.
Yeah, they have exactly. They have their own thing that they run. Because I think that they just learned. I want
to multiply each of those people by 3 or 4, like over the next couple of years. And that's why it's called Sphere, by the way, is because it's supposed to be about my sphere, not about,
Yeah, everybody out there. Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff, especially like when you're a newer agent and you're trying to build a database. It's a good way to get names into your database and people that you can talk to about real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Like once you hit that level where you're getting referrals from past clients to their friends and their network and their family, that's when my business took off. Because then it was like, I always refer to it's like dating, like finding someone online, like a cold Zillow lead is like dating in all those dating apps, I would imagine. But if it's like, hey, my sister thinks we should go grab a beer. Like you have like a verified recommendation from.
Yeah, I like how you just said, I would imagine. I appreciated that little.
this kind of invented after I was married, so I've never.
Okay.
So I pieced it together from my reality.
Just in case she watches this, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for having my back, Ross. But yeah, no. So those spheres are like, and I don't know. How do you turn your past clients into those referrals? What's your advice there?
So I'm somebody who I don't use scripts. I don't when I'm making these calls, I believe my belief is that people are not using me because they think I'm an expert. I think that they take for granted that anyone in real estate is already an expert. You're in real estate, that's your job. I think that the reason people use me is because they believe that I care what will happen to them in the transaction. I believe that there's a very heightened sense of anxiety and that needs to be addressed. And even if people are excited, it's still change, and change, even if it's good, breeds anxiety. So I'm really like, the other thing is I don't, when Sphere tells me who to contact, I'm texting a lot of them. I don't call as much as I text. I text like crazy because I actually think texting is more personal than calling now. I know like all the coaches are like, it's got to be face to face or whatever, or voice to voice. And I just don't think that's true because my mom texts me, my friends text me. The person that calls me wants to warn me that my car warranty is about to expire. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be another person like that calling people. Like, I don't want to be another like, hey, how's it going? So I'm usually like, hey, I mean, it was very easy during the pandemic because it was like, I mean, which I guess is still happening, but it was very easy to just be like, hey, just wondering how you guys are doing. Like, are you, how are you all? Do you need anything? That's it. Like, I'm your friend. And they remember what I do, right? They would eventually, in these text conversations, they're eventually going to say, how's the market? What's going on? Things are crazy. What's up with, interest rates are right, like whatever. Yeah. And then we're getting into a real estate conversation. And all that matters to me is that they had in their minds that I care about them. I was just checking in. I wasn't trying to sell them anything. And that I do real estate, which I didn't have to tell them because they know that. And they brought it up, right? This is most of the time. So that's it. I just do it. And I do, Sphere is going to bring me everybody every 90 days. That's basically how it works.
Yeah. I love that. And I think you just changed the way I think about my business. Yeah. To me, and I'm going to have to rethink my entire life now.
Let's just hit the pause button here for a second. And let's
part of this happened because I go on these listing appointments where they're also interviewing other agents. And I just started to feel exhausted by the idea that I had to prove that I'm the best agent. I was like, God, everyone's just going into these appointments, just being like, I'm the best and I'm the number one. And here's my numbers and here's why. And here's all the stuff I'm going to do for you and all this stuff. I'm like, there's got to be something else. Like, I can't just do that all the time. It's going to kill me. And I started to actually say to them, like this was, okay. So the way this happened was with the timeline thing I'm talking about, because I put it on my phone. And I'll say to them, this is like my thing. I've been winning these listing appointments like crazy because of this. I think this is why. I'll say to them, and I mean, this is also authentic. I'm saying to them, hey, if I do if me or anyone else you hire does the absolute best job of any real estate professional on planet Earth, this will still be a pretty stressful experience for you. And they're like, like what? Like no one else said that, right?
Yeah.
And then I say I go, look, this is where you live. This, for most people, it's your biggest asset. Like that's scary, and I just want you to know that I feel that my job is equally to get you the absolute most money for your house as well as equally to absorb and mitigate as much of the stress as possible for you. And I have a tool. Here's one way that I can do that, which is you'll have this on your phone, and I show it to them on my phone, and I say like, you will always know in real time exactly what's happening. You will have you will never wonder. And there's you can actually touch a button on it that will call me. I'm like, you can always touch here and call me too. Yeah. But like, I just want you to know that I take it really seriously, this big change you're about to have, and that I want to make that as pleasant for you as possible, in addition to getting you all the money. And I know that I'm the only one who didn't go there and just talk about how great I was.
That's what I do. That's what the profound statement is. I was like, I promise you, I know more about real estate. I've with new construction, I've done this and flips and renovations and real estate investing. I've written books. And I'm like,
I tell them,
yeah.
I walk in and I go, listen, I'm going to do a really good job and this is going to completely freak you out. So
I love it. I love that.
You know,
like,
try it once. Just try it on your next one and just see what happens.
You're a human and you're not like this machine. That now I'm like, because it was mind-boggling to me, and where it would be like, how did you pick that person over me? I would come away from listening appointments to be like, do you not understand that person, whatever is like 6 months into their license, and I've acquired all this experience. And
the reason is because
that person's a human. Yeah.
Just like dating, these are not rational decisions.
Right. Yeah.
None of them are rational.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not picking. They're not going like, well, let's list the pros and cons of this agent and this agent. No, they just have a gut feeling, whatever it is, and they go with it.
Yeah. It's the human connection, the warm and fuzzy. This person will make this comfortable. I trust this person. I think that is that's 100% now. That's way more valuable than anything. I do not have the emotional or time bandwidth to be everybody's best friend. I'm certainly not trying to do that. But just by texting them, I think, instead of calling them, this is reversed. I mean, 10 years ago or whatever, I would have been like, you got to call them. And now I'm just like, oh my God, even if I get a call that's not business, I'll let it go to voicemail and then I'll read the voicemail. I'm basically getting a text anyway. And as someone who receives both voicemails and text messages, I feel bad when I don't reply to a text message. I do not feel bad if I ignore a voicemail.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
I feel like it used to be that like I would always just call people, right? And now I feel like, can we schedule a time to chat? Like it's almost like disrespectful of people's time to just like barge in and say like, hey, I need to talk to you right now. It's like
I haven't thought of it that way. It is.
Text you right now.
You've been calling me like I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, hey, when can we schedule a time to chat? I'm texting this to them. When can we schedule a time to chat? Right.
It reminds me of that mug that says this whole meeting could have been an email. That's kind of how I feel about every phone call. It's like, you texted me that and it's taken 2 seconds. And
and that's having the ability to text our clients out of our CRM has been huge.
Yeah.
Huge. That's been amazing, especially when you're running a team and everybody's got a phone and then the stuff doesn't get written into the contact. And I don't know, you just texted him and she doesn't do the thing. Having a tight CRM. Going back to that.
That's funny because I was reaching out to some agents and to just questions here, and no one was picking up the phone, and whatever. And then it got back to me. They're like, finally got someone, and everyone's like, yeah, everyone's texting me like, why is Alan calling me? And I'm like, just answer the phone, and I would why I'm calling. Like, why would you text someone else saying, why is Alan calling?
I mean, and that's the listening about agents on it. It's like, agents will text me, ask me about it. I'll text them right back. Like, oh, here's the deal and here's what's going on. And thank you. And then like, I didn't even realize someone had called and left a voicemail and now they're mad at me. It's just like, just text me.
Right. Yeah. But this happened this weekend from someone on my team where they were like, every time she tried to call the agent, she automatically got a text message back that says, please text me. And then so she texts her and they would never reply to the text.
Okay. Well, that's bad.
So you're forced to call, and then you would be like, oh, like it wasn't like an automated thing because it would be a little bit different every time. Hey, please text me if you're calling about this deal. Yeah, I've texted you 4 times and got no response. So
that's a whole other meme.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I agree that texting's probably better, but you also have to, have that feel bad by not replying back to someone's text.
I think that agent needs a team. That's what.
Well, maybe that's
overwhelmed. I mean, it takes nothing to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's true. Estate. Or you have one listing and you have 40 offers on it. Like that's overwhelming right there. Yeah.
It's like a virus got sent off once all the people start calling you.
Yeah. It's like one of
That's
those
crazy.
email chains that they should have done BCC, but it's all CCC, and then everyone replies unsubscribe, and everyone's like, so you just get lost in the web of emails and information and everything. But yeah. Wow, Ross, this has been wonderful. You've changed the way I approach many things in this hour episode here, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, and you've gotten me to think a lot about the listing side of it. So
yeah. I mean, I think there's some ego involved too for me, where it was like, oh, of course I need to be there on every listing appointment, and then it's like, wait a minute, well, who's to say I'm better for this client and this personality and for this house and for this neighborhood? Like, I'm still associated with it, but if they really, really trust me, and they trust me to use the mortgage lender, they trust me that I recommend, and the plumber I recommend, and why would they not trust me to use the listing agent that I recommend?
No,
Yeah.
it's true. It's like I feel like we're one of the only like financially adjacent or based professions where this is an issue. It's like, even like you go to your insurance, and usually you're not talking to the person whose name is up on the top. Same thing if you hire an attorney.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, well, why can't we create the same kind of firms?
I mean, you don't go into Chase and ask to talk to JP Morgan. Chase.
No, you don't.
That's not your expectation. I know it's not live, but exactly. Yeah. So I think it'll be profound if you just make a decision, and I think you're going to have the same story where like, wow, 2 years later, I actually did more business than I ever did before, or whatever.
I start coaching people, and when they like come to me with a problem, I'm gonna be like, just decide, and just make a decision. Okay, $100. I'm gonna go now. You're right. I mean, I'm making a joke, but it's true. It's like so much of this is just our mindset.
Yeah.
It all goes back to that whole thing of like, can this person do it 80% as good as you?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of gotta.
All you need, doesn't have to be 100%.
And then it's not going to be perfect, right? Like,
No.
Obvi, you would have done it. You've done it longer. You could probably say the exactly right things, but there's going to be that 20% fallout, and you have to be okay with that if you want to create freedom. So,
I agree. And then also it's, my train of thought, but it's basically like you have no guarantee you could have done it better, right?
No, exactly.
You think you can.
And who cares if it's better or not, as long as it happened and it's done.
There's that.
It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
Totally fine.
Okay. So it's use Sphere, usesphere.com.
Sphere.com.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
And then your team is
we're called the Own It Portland team. It's a living room realty. You can go to ownitportland.com if you want to check out our website, and usesphere.com if you want to check that out. And you can always reach me at ross@ownitportland.com if you want to talk about any of this stuff.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
You got to come back on the show, and
would love to anytime. Let me know when. Happy to. Great to meet you both.
Appreciate it. Are you on social media? Anything? Instagram?
Yes. At Own It Portland is my Instagram, and then my name Ross Seligman for Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on Agent Upgrade, and congrats on all your success. Looking forward to see what's to come.
Thanks for having me. Hope next time we talk, I've got my listing situation figured out. So
yeah, and I'll be rocking and rolling with Sphere. So we'll
awesome.
We'll chat
Yeah,
will be fun.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Cool. All right.
Talk later.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Agent Upgrade podcast. If you are an agent looking for a new mortgage lender, start with Jasmine at jasmineteam.com. If you want to learn about real estate investing and working with investors, check in with Alan at thehouseofac.com. See you next time on Agent Upgrade.